Good evening, you're very welcome to the Masters Championship for round number 4 of Division 3 here at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. My name is Graham and I'll do my best to bring you the action tonight from a track that twists and turns, and where it goes nobody knows. That's not true, everyone knows where it goes. It goes in a circle, but a very convoluted circle, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? So Albert Anderson, I believe he's going to get us going. While he does and while others get going behind him, it's just myself tonight, so no shenanigans, it's just me. And I'm absolutely knackered, so I hope these guys can help wake me up and give me a good race, give everyone a good race. I think we'll all do that after a long week. So anyways, heading into this round, just got a quick update of the standings. It is Focky leading the way on 78 points. He is ahead of Jetty in second. I don't think he's actually here tonight, is Jetty. Jetty's on 66 points in second, and CVG then in third on 56, and behind him is the other half of Synchronizer on 47 points. Barbara Sanford, the surprise of the season so far, on 43 points. Nice little group of cars, including Caesar, Unsafe Release, Heated, and Tom Chad are also into the 30s, with Caesar leading the way there on 36 points of that group. For the constructors, Haas leading the way, 40-point margin over Renault, 125 points for Haas, 85 for Renault. Nice little battle there for third. Toro Rosso 66 points, Ferrari 65. And then Red Bull on 58 then in 5th, and that is kind of how we stand. Just other bits of housekeeping very quick so we get this out of the way. I believe DJ Williamson has a qualifying ban, but I believe he is allowed to at least get his setup and do a grid lap at least, and kind of just get the setup on and go for it. A couple of reserves here tonight that someone might be familiar with from other divisions. And Stevie G there goes quick as 28.7. Wesker, Yaram, and Scuba actually joined as well, but these guys I believe will be on no ABS, and I think I have to start from the back if my understanding is correct. Captain Chubbs as well, I believe, as well. So I think that is basically it. We can kind of get cracking here. Two Renaults into the top 5 once again. Stevie G ahead there of his teammate of Cygate there, who's just popped into P4. Trying to get my bearings straight. Where is Focky? He just completed a lap. I was trying to find him. He just completed a lap. 27.9. Sorry, other way around. 29.7 for the Dutchman. He is just behind his teammate, which hasn't really been a thing this season so far, but hey, early days for that to change. Here comes Heated. Again, we have to be careful for any cuts of that last chicane. They will of course be penalised. Heated then goes into second place, 28.9 in the Alfa Romeo. Should see what kind of, see where that stacks up. Obviously everyone going for the softs. I think there's no real drama about that. I am on board with the wrong car. Finding on a flying lap. Is Austin doing on a flying lap? I think he is. On the hards, go right tight against that inside barrier. He goes up to 7th place with a 30.1 on the hards. Not bad. Not too bad, but I think let's see if I find anyone else on a flow. There's a car off the road. That is Silas. Where is that? That's just before Spoon. So not going well for him, but I think I'll go on board with Caesar for this lap actually, because the first runs, majority of them are over, so everyone's either coming into the pits or on an in lap. So let's go on board with Caesar then, get that rigorous bump, which I believe shouldn't be there for F1 2020, but according to Codemasters, but we shall see how that stacks. Let's go on board with Caesar though, overtake mode, heading into the first turn. Very dangerous corner, but we'll get to that more as we start the race. Nice and flowing. This part here is, if you have the right downforce, it is just beautiful. You work the car through, keeping it high. There is Caesar. Dabble on the brakes. Try and get way through. Get 4th or 5th gears. Not too bad through there. Then through the Dunlop curve and into the 2 Degners. Clean entry, exit. Kind of missed it a little bit there, but won't be affected too much by, but maybe a little bit of time left on the table here for Caesar, and the hairpin heavy brake. And when you go down to first gear, no, happy with the rotation in second gear. Sometimes you can go down to first gear there if you really want to, but I don't mind it myself. But obviously short shift ends back best you can. Hit tight to that line. You'd be surprised how much actually time you can make up by doing that. And then the beautiful spoon curve. Oh, big lock up though for Caesar. Not as satisfying in this game as it has been in previous games, the spoon curve, but alas, still very satisfying when you hit it, but easy to run wide, even cut it as well. And then through 130R, want to stick as tight as you can. Then ERS right on the limit for Caesar. Lock up makes the apex though, and cleanly around the chicane as well. That back end wants to get away from, he's into the barrier. He is extremely lucky that it was a square on impact and not anything more to the left or right, because his wheel would have been absolutely shattered. So a lucky break there for Caesar, that it was straight in the middle, and he can carry on at least. But on another flying lap it will have to be, and he's well, one of a few drivers yet to set a time. Of course, some of these are, of course, not setting times. And well, it's kind of quiet. 10 minutes to go. There's not a lot going on track. There's a Mercedes on track though. Is Silas, is he recovered, or is he? He is, but he is not on a flying lap. Is anyone on a flying lap? No, unsafe release on the mediums. Doesn't look like it. There's a Haas out on track. That will be Synchronizer. He's obviously not on a flying lap, so I guess we're just kind of stuck here for the moment. AJ's on a lap. We'll stick with this. May as well in the Toro Rosso, the sole Toro Rosso tonight, I believe. Unless Scuba takes that other vacancy. Can I please change to something that isn't cockpit? Oh, he's lost it coming out of into the Dunlop curve, and there's a car right behind him that's gone through. It's the Williams. I believe that's Albin Anderson. Excuse me, I'm pressing R1. I would like to see a different view than the one I'm seeing. That is unreal. Thanks, Co-Masters, really appreciate it. We can see, let's go on board here with Invictus on an out lap. There's not a whole lot going on. Let's synchronize. I can synchronize actually start that. I think he may have. Yes, we can actually do something here. Here he is, just coming out of the first turn. Running very wide on exit though, as he heads through the S's. See what he's like, his grip is like. Gets struggling to hug those lines. Flex still in front there, so I think he's finally away. Is AJ. Actually, I want to see what the entry is like here for a synchronizer on the two deck. It's very clean. They want to use as much of the track on the outside as you can on exit. I'll certainly give you a boost. And into the hairpin overtaking opportunity. You'd be surprised. See then as he heads up towards Spoon. Lots of other people out on track at the moment, so a flurry of activities about to begin. But we'll start with Synchronizer. Everyone else is kind of queuing up. So Ferrari behind. Well, I think it's well, the two of them are around Spoon, so it's close enough. But Synchronizer is improving on this lap, and at the moment this wouldn't be enough to go ahead of Albin Anderson. Let's see though how this one ends. See. Goes out of the very bumpy final corner and across the line to do a 1 minute 29.2. It is an improvement, but it is not an improvement enough to get himself into the top three. Here comes Ivor Brim Mike, and he's peeling into the pits. His teammate is just beginning a flying lap. Where is that Williams of Albin Anderson? Here we go then. Oh, look at that. He just has had a little conversation with the barrier there, coming out of rather into the Dunlop curve. So that's his unfortunate for him. Let's see then. Oh, Genie Mac, 3/10, almost 3.5 tenths is Albin up on his current time. This could be a very good lap indeed. But will it be enough to take official pole position? A bit more than 3/10 between that time and the time of Stevie G, 28.7. Here he comes then. And it is a 28.5. He does indeed go provisional pole. Found out 3/10 or so in that last sector. So a good lap from him. The other Renault is coming into the pits. Has a Haas, there's a Focky, it is Focky, but he's diving into the pits as well. Unsafe release, just beginning his flying lap, whereas Silas, he is just starting his. The Alfa Romeo of Invictus is going to finish the lap. Running out of ERS there at the end, it's a 30.4. This is the slowest of anyone who said time so far, but it's good enough for 10th place at the moment. Here comes Stevie G then, can he find an improvement? Oh, can he just? 28 flat. Absolutely blows the pole position time at the moment. He is quick at this track. We knew that from last season as well. 28 flats, 5/10 quicker. He went 6/10 quicker there, just over 6/10. He's 7/10 on that lap. So that's an astonishing lap there from Stevie G. He is the man to beat tonight, it seems. Ooh, Caesar right on the edge, almost like the Kubica line through there, 29 flat. I imagine there's quite a bit of time to gain there, he's nearly a second behind Stevie G. But he did get a lap in, and he is into the top 5, pushing Synchronizer down to 5th, and Cygate then out of the top 5 entirely as he emerges from the pits now. Himself does the Renault. Whereas Albin is on an in lap. The 2 Red Bulls are nice and tight here, aren't they? Unsafe release, an awesome dude. Unsafe release on a flying lap. Ooh, ducks a wheel onto the grass twice there. He's 6/10 up though. Now that he's got a fresh set of softs on. And, well, 6/10 will take him to an interesting place indeed. Let's see then. Can he break into the top 5? Let's find out for unsafe release. No, he's just marginally missed out, just around 200 of a second, but he has improved his grid position. It is P6 at the moment, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that to build, at least for the time being. There's Silas in the Mercedes. He saw Mercedes tonight, it seems. And he dives into the pits. There's another Williams, that's a Wesker on an out lap. The racing point of De Miles is right there behind him, and he dives into the pits as well. There's another Renault. I think that's actually Psyche beginning his lap. No, it is just Stevie G coming into the pit. There's a Ferrari in front of him. It is Caesar. Now, I don't think he'll be... Well, I don't think he'll stay out. And everyone... Basically, most of the field are into the pits, either on an in-lap or in the pits to get ready for their final runs of this session. I think Awesome Dude is on a flying lap, though. And I think Cygate is just beginning his. Let's do with the Red Bull here. Red Bull Honda, of course, on semi-home soil. Yeah. And, yeah, same place of the track as Unsafe Release, carved to the back of Awesome Dude, but trying to get a little bit of toe, maybe a little bit, but wouldn't have been too effective down there. So just scraping 195 on mediums is Awesome Dude, so bear that in mind. In the top 10 at the moment, with not a ton of other people to do laps really, because most of those are reserves. Let's see where he figures himself then. 29.2, but it is invalid. So some decent pace there. Well, I mean, it depends how much. On the surface, it looks like there's a lot of pace, but we don't know what parts of the track were cut, if any. AJ then into second place there, into the front row, 28.532, so 400s quicker than Albin Anderson. Actually didn't realise he was on a flying lap there, but there you go. It's throwing the cat amongst the pigeons. These guys won Toro Rosso in the mix there. I almost said Alpha Tauri, and that's not till next year. Next year, 2 months, less than 2 months basically. But 6/10 improvement here for Cygate. 29 flat would take him into the top 5. Can he find any more in this last sector? Fully on the throttle. Comes across the line. This could be a 28 as well. So it is a 28.8, and it does pop him up into 4th place, ahead of Heated and ahead of Caesar as well. So I think that could be it then for Cygate. Let's see if he recovers and does one more lap on those soft, but not really what you want to do. Let's just see then who is on a flight. So Heated is starting a lap. Stevie G is retired from the session, so yeah, I think he's in pretty good shape to be taking pole position. I love this turn 1 as you drift out and then drift back in, then get onto the throttle. Awesome Dude has had it then as well, so a couple more people retiring then as we hit the 2-minute mark. There's a racing point. There's 2 of them, to be fair. I think DJ Williamson was supposed to be in the Williams, and Wesker may have robbed that of him, but Cygate out of the session, but I believe he's still on track still, is he not? So he's retired on the track. I know there's no one around, but I do believe that is against the rules. Albon just beginning his lap. Toro Rosso of AJ there in second, so he'll be coming in. He won't be playing any further part in this session at least. So there's a Alfa Romeo. Is Invictus, but he is on an out lap if the ERS is to be believed, and indeed I think it is. So that's going to leave Heated then as the first man here to get us going here in these final runs. I say final runs, like I've already lost 2 Renaults. They're not playing any further parts. AJ's out of the equation here as well. So it's up to Albin, Heated, Caesar, Synchronizer, Unsafe Release, and Focky. See if any of them can dip into 27s is what it's going to have to be to take provisional pole position here. Less than a minute to go. And what can Heated do? I don't think this is going to be too much quicker, is it? It is a bit quicker, but it takes him into third place. 28.5. Who is on a what here? So they're just starting the lap. The two Hasses running pretty wide astern. Synchronizer in front of Focky there. So let's swing back to De Miles, who's on a flying lap, and he's going to complete this one. ERS has run out though, so he'll lose a bit of time here at the end. But what can he do? It is a 29.67. 29.7, and he moves on up into the top 10. Unsafe Release just beginning his lap then, as is Caesar, and just a bit of time left to spare. So this will be it then. Checker flag will be out in 5 seconds, and whatever we have is what we have. So Alba Anderson will be the first one to get us going then. Oh, very wide entry then into the last chicane. He's going to board the lap, or will he carry on? He's going to carry on, but he will have lost a little bit of time there. A very wide exit as well, the last turn. And 29.7, I think he bailed on it at the end there, but a tough lap for him. Where is Invictus? Alfa Romeo in the top 3. What can Invictus do? It is a 30.1. It's 11th place. Might not be too bad. That might be a blessing in disguise to be in P11 there, but not in the top 10 at least. Heated is not on a flying lap now. Where are these two Hasses? Synchronizing there ahead of Focky on track. But let's see then what the sector times are looking like. Oh, yeah, it's a 10th up there for Synchronizer and a 2nd for Focky. Could take him into the front row. Let's find out though. That's into the final turn from Synchronizer. He couldn't get himself into the top 5 if he can make enough of an improvement. Let's see then. Synchronizer then, it is a top 6, 28.9. Focky then at 28.6. Moves up into the top 5. Not enough for pole position. What about Caesar? He's going to have ERS extremely early here. And almost made the same mistake twice, but he does stay in 8th place. It's 28.9, and I believe Unsafe Release is not on a lap, so I think that is going to do it. Disappointing with these anticlimactic Division 3 qualifying sessions, not going to lie. It feels like it's been a while since we had something stolen at the death there, but there you go. That is, I think that's your lot for qualifying in this Japanese Grand Prix. Don't know what the race may hold, but no one, I don't think. Yeah, all on softs from the top 10. We shall see how it goes. But there you go then. That is your lot. I'll run down this order then. So Stevie G then convincing Paul, if I've ever seen it. Half a second ahead of AJ in 2nd. Heated in 3rd. Alba Anderson in 4th. Focky in 5th. Psygage 6th. Synchronizer 7th. Caesar 8th. Unsafe Release 9th, and Miles then rounding out the top 10. But nice little gap. Like, it's very tight. Like, you look from AJ down towards, Synchronizer and Caesar. It's not a lot in it. Not a ton in it. So I think that, especially in the top, between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th there, I think that kind of bodes pretty well that maybe we could get a nice tight race. But find out 27 laps to find out. If you have any predictions, hey, send them in. Anything to say in the comments, hey, fire away. Like, I'm I'm alone here, so and I could use the help. So what are we looking at for this race? Yeah, it looks pretty dry to me, so yeah, no threat of rain, at least for the time being. Ooh, I see some hopping cars on the grid. Always fun to see. Extra suspension at work. I think it needs to sort this out. I'm trying to think what car it was that had. Was it the Williams? I know the Renault had the mass damper as well, but I know the Williams had this whole thing with their suspension in the 90s. Something like that. Anyways, 27 laps, I believe, of this circuit. Should fly by fairly quickly. Maybe 40 minutes or so. Oh, well, safety car depending, of course. But let's have a look then at what we've got. So then, okay. So obviously everyone in the top 10 started qualifying on softs. Invictus, Ivory Mike and Scuba there at the back will be on the soft compound tyres. Majority of the field outside the top 10 going for the mediums, including Awesome Dude, Silas, DJ Williamson, Captain Chubbs, and Yaram. And then Wesker is the sole user on the hards, which means he'll be instantly overtaken by Scuba, I imagine, off the start. So I'd say that is what the likely story is. But yeah, it's a very... The nature of this circuit and turn 1 in particular is you need to be very careful. Like, it's hard, you can't just launch one down the inside because of the nature of the corner and how it's a long turn 1. So you do have to be very careful. You need to leave the utmost space if you're on the outside as well, if there's a car alongside, because obviously very easy to splice across the other car as you swoop through turn 1. So yeah, I suspect we might see a 1 or 2 incidents there, but hopefully we can all get nice and cleanly through and see where this race kind of unfolds for us. I mean, CVG is looking a pretty good bet. His qualifying pace, and he's got a good record here as well in F1 2019 as well. So, you know, he has got a good swing of momentum on his side. He was convincingly half a second as well quicker than the next closest car to him. So he does have a good advantage here. Whether that is, you know, the same story in the race, I guess we'll find out. I would imagine it's pretty reflective of his advantage, the qualifying margin. But we shall see. I do enjoy his helmet though. I have enjoyed his red and yellow helmet there in this Renault. So yeah, I think he's looking good. And well, see if you can pick up the pieces behind him. I do think Focky is out of place here somewhat, but we shall see how that goes as they line up. Just to I have to check something very quickly as they line up here. Just I've been saying AJ, like, it is Merc, obviously, in case you didn't know, but I can't be arsed, so I'm going with AJ, and I don't really feel two ways about it. But the helmet, of course, is undeniably Merc's if you know anything about Master Championship and what Merc runs. So yeah, I can't be arsed with the rest. The name is. The week's been too long to call it anything else. Let's go then. On board with Heated then. Here we go. 5 red lights. And away we go as the sun shines down on Czech. Looks like a good start for the front two. And Albon on the inside then of Heated heading into turn 1. Next phase of the corner. Who's going to come out on top? Heated's going to have the outside. Albon is going to have the better speed. It's going to go side by side through the S's. Look like Heated has held off opposition there from Albon for the time, but Albon coming back and Focky in the mix there. So we'll go on board Focky side by side, a little bit of contact between himself and Albon. It's a yellow flag as Mercedes of Scuba, I think, is left down the order. I'm not sure which way he's facing, but he looks like he's a far way behind, so we're going to continue with this though. So Heated did defend Albon ultimately, and then Focky as well. Ooh, down the inside then. Oh, and Sygate's got very well and synchronized side by side with him in the inside of second deck there. A little bit of contact, but I think he's going to still have the inside line heading towards the hairpin. Another yellow flag as Victus off at the second Degner. Still a yellow flag out for him, but Sygate then still holding on to P6 for the time being. Synchronizer tries to pull alongside in overtake mode, trying to take advantage of this as quickly as possible, but he's going to find it hard to do on the outside of Spoon. Oh, contact! And that was Caesar into the back of Synchronizer, but thankfully Synchronizer was able to catch it. And then no harm, well, no, I wouldn't say no harm done. I'm not sure if he's got damage, has Caesar, but big contact then between himself and the Haas. Thankfully everyone looks like they're okay as Synchronizer are closing in, using a lot of his ERS very early to Racing Points, swapping positions as well. But Synchronizer wanted to get this one done as quickly as possible, try and catch up to the back of his teammate. But yes, he used all of his ERS deployment there for that lap, allowing on the first lap, but 5/10 of a second between Stevie G and Merc then, as Yarm makes his way up to 12th place at the head of De Miles. Flowing through the S's then for the second time. Sygate doing well then to hold on to Heated did well to hold on to his position, as did Sygate then as well. And then Synchronizer did well to hold on to his car after contact from behind, but seems a gap emerging already though from Sygate to Focky, 1.4 seconds, and then that's a cut for sure. And the DRS of course would be enabled at the end of this lap. See Yarman making good progress on his mediums. CVG almost got that second margin that he needs between himself and the Toro Rosso here. He's not too far behind that either, whereas Synchronizer this time he's used over 2/3 of his ERS, so not looking healthy in that regard, and he's got a long way to go as well. Safety car, of course, you could bank on, and that might help things here. Ooh, side-by-side contact between DeMiles and Ivory Mike, and Chubbs is in close proximity as well. Battle for P14. Nothing imminent happening up the front, no close gaps, so that's why I'm sticking with this. So if something happens up there, it's Sutton. So let's see then. Ivory Mike will go down the inside. Oh, contact, and they're both round. And who else did get caught in that? Oh, Wesker got caught, but Silas is out of the race. And I'm sure that's going to be a safety car. There it is. That'll give Synchronizer the chance he needs to recover his ERS. But yeah, that was a pretty poor attempt at the move. You can't dive on into 130R like that. To be fair, I need to see it again, but it didn't look like the move was really on from there. And yeah, where's DeMiles? He's without a front wing, as is Ivory Mike. Scuba into the pits then as well. Is he put on the hards? No, he's put on the mediums. And then Yarm then coming onto the hard. So Yarm then could go to the end of this race. Of course, a lot of these guys went past the safety car point, you know, the pit stops when the safety car was deployed. So not everyone had the option, of course, to come out and you know, come for a pit stop and put on something. So Yarm, I think, can go to the end. Will any of these front-running cars decide to pit? That's the question. Will any of them decide, having seen Wesker on, you know, in Division 2, that maybe it might be worth it to have a look at a set? Oh, Yarm's out of the race. What's happened to him? I think he's just yeah, interesting. Not sure what happened there, but I know he's reserving tonight, but even still, that's an interesting one. I'm not sure what happened there, but alas, lap 3. Let's see then. Of course, safety car yet to pick up the leaders. Let's see if anyone decides to go for a stop. We are looking at around lap 6-ish when we go racing again. So let's see then. Yes, so Stevie G is in. Merck is going to carry on. Heated is coming in, taking the board with him. Albon's carrying on. Focky carrying on. Cygate and Synchronizer coming into the pits. Caesar's going to carry on. But Unsafe Release is going to carry on. So about half of those drivers on the softs are coming in. And I think it's a good call, to be fair. So hard compound tyres for Stevie G. For Heated, mediums for Synchronizer, and hard for Cygate then. He was lucky not to be held up more than he was, to be fair. He's out of there pretty quickly for someone whose teammate just came in front of him. And so it's going to be interesting, because I think this move puts Stevie G in an excellent position for this race. But of course he does have to make his way through the traffic. The guys on the softs won't be too much of a problem to deal with. They'll have to pit sooner rather than later. It's these three drivers on mediums that you have to try and, you know, clear. He won't be able to clear immediately, perhaps, but you know, it's, if he does catch up to the back of them, whenever that time may come, he's got to be careful not to lose too much time behind them to begin with, giving the soft runners a chance to try and extend a gap while they still have the softs. He might be able to get by Chubbs because of ABS, but yeah, we'll have to see. So let's just see where it puts us. There you go. So Heated, the second car there, who's effective net P2 there at the moment, with everyone, you know, assuming people still have to make stops. Victor stands, so Synchronizer then in third. Let's bring Scuba back into the fray a little bit then, having made his stop. He's on mediums. He's a reserve, so obviously he's not going to finish the race, but interesting to see what he does. Now, they've picked up the safety car here. There it is. And so we're about to head on to lap 5. I imagine we'll be at least here for another lap at the very least. And then lap 6, lap 7 will be looking to get underway once again. But yeah, there's not a ton to say at this stage. A lot of things, I'm glad we do have some split strategies, because now, the other way with under green flags, like this is going, like everyone was on the same strategy basically. I'm sure Synchronizer would have put on mediums in this stop, but I think most people, yeah, like it was gonna be mostly a similar kind of strategy for the guys at the front on the soft. So this does at least throw a little bit of a you know, unpredictability with the strategies with guys like Heaton and CVG on hards, guys at the front here on the softs yet to pitch. So yeah, I'd say this race is looking delicately poised. Weather doesn't look like it's going to be an issue. Of course, that's reflective in the fact that they've taken the hard compound tyres, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Still shining. You can see the shadows on the wall, on the track. Yeah. They're lucky in the sense that the guys on softs aren't. There's not someone like on mediums in front of them. So we saw in Hungary last week, or that kind of the soft runners. I think it was the two Hasses ran on softs, but the guys in front of them basically ran away, and then the guys behind them were kind of stuck going backwards, and the guys in the hards going back as well. They were stuck, and it just kind of went from there, and the front group were able to build a nice big gap, and then that helped obviously come the pit stops. Of course, there could be other safety cars that could change the dynamic of this race later on, but let's see then if we get to go racing at the end of this lap. It'd be nice. Get this show on the road once again. Let's go on board there with no accident with the safety car so far, which is a pleasant surprise. Oh, but there's a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits though. I spoke too soon. So I imagine we should know pretty soon if safety car is coming in. Yes, there it is. I have a feeling it might be this lap, heading on to lap 6. So it is up to Merck then to pile up, not pile up, but it's a different meaning entirely, but to back the pack up. It is under his prerogative, the speed, and the race continues. And of course, the safety car line is of course a start-finish straight. People will forget. Excuse me. And here we go then. Let's see what his restart is like. Of course, it's full ERS for everyone basically. You could consider that possibly a corner cut there for that chicane, but we are under racing once again then, and look at this, heated already. You can see there, Synchronizer already by. I'm sure the story was there, but side by side DJ Williamson on Awesome Dude. Awesome Dude goes very, very wide. See where he can rejoin. Can any of the guys on the hards get through? Can Stevie G get through? No, because Captain Chubbs couldn't even get through. So Awesome Dude then lucky to only lose the one place, then having run very wide then out of turn, but so far pretty clean restart. I know Captain Chubbs trying to stick a nose in there, looked like he was going to maybe get a move done, but he looks like he's definitely quicker as Scuba gets by Invictus then. That is for P13. Hybrid Mike just behind as well. But yeah, Chubbs looking to put the pressure on, and even Awesome Dude as well looks to put pressure on DJ Williamson on those mediums. Doors left open. Oh, but that contact now. Would Chubbs go through? No. But he's got CVG along his side, but he backs out of it. Looking at a good spot though. The gap is quite close to Focky and Albin as well, so delicately poised, but the sufferers don't need to be squabbling with each other. They need to just keep going and try and pull as much distance as they can between them and the hard runners, who of course do not have to stop again in this race. Anything brewing then. Focky then getting close to Album. We'll stick with this actually. There was a nice little battle going back there for between P8. Actual switch, because I think down the inside, yes, but he comes the outside for the chicane. Oh, contact between Captain Chubbs and Stevie G. Front to rear contact. But somehow they both survive, and that should be Stevie G through. He's going to have to use the ERS to get through then, and Heated is trying to make his way through as well. Captain Chubbs and contact between himself and Heated is round. Thankfully he was able to get back through. And Synchronizer then thankfully wasn't collected in that, but yeah, contact between Captain Chubbs and Heated. Heated's lost out there, but he hasn't lost out too badly. I don't think his wing is damaged, so that could have been a whole lot worse. But Stevie G did get through. That was important for him as Sygate then gets by Heated, who I think he's really struggling. Oh, he's off again, off the track, and he's going to be round. Is he? No, he's kept hold of it, but he's just spiraled unfortunately from where he was, so he's effective P2. And contact with Captain Chubbs then, and did not help him. Need to see that again to see maybe who was responsible. Meanwhile, Focky really putting the pressure on. Albin seems much quicker at this phase of the race, trying to find a way round. Car number 13, Albin. You can see the back end, one step out there. See Chubbs close behind Synchronizer then as well, but I'm going to stick with this. Again, less than a second separating the top. Obviously, between all the cars you see in the top 4. Unsafe Lease has dropped a little bit behind Caesar this time round. But you can see the gap to the leader then. 1.5 seconds covering the top 4. Oh, and it's got wide. Missed it as Alba Anderson, and Focky then sneaks through. Thank you very much, you'll be thinking, I'm sure. And he is through then, and the DRS is enabled this lap. And Merck is out of that range. Alba then can't find a way back through. I don't think there's any way through here. There's Chubbs under pressure from Scuba as Wesker comes into the pits then. Caesar looking to put the pressure on Albon as well. It's a little bit all over the place at the moment. Is Albon struggling, possibly with those softs beginning to get older and older? But he survived for the time being, but still a nice 2-second gap between Caesar and Unsafely Safe flag in sector 1. That is Invictus, who is off the track there, so not going well for the Alfa Romeos. Not been a great lap, and Merck already with a penalty. Some people won't even get a penalty at all around here, but Merck has got one in the first 8 laps. Won't do himself any favours. Oh, yellow flag in sector 1. I think there's Invictus again. Wesker trying to find his way through on that Alfa Romeo, but how's the rest of the field looking? Still, where is Stevie G actually? He's in 8th there, and the gap between the leaders 6 seconds, so these guys need to be pulling out a bit more than this, because they're going to have to come into their softs pretty for their stops to get off those softs pretty soon. As Chubbs then overtaken by Scuba. That is for P10, but coming back at him. Overtake mode. Nothing else imminent up front. I know Caesar's getting a little bit closer to Albon, but we'll just stick with this for us as long as we can. Chubbs then gets onto the gravel on the outside, but nothing really doing then. Let's see with DRS then what Caesar can reel in on Albon. He's got about halfway in his ERS. Let's see then, nothing really doing. He's not really pulling into overtake mode either, so maybe he might be best off trying to conserve that for the time being. Oh, they almost collide. Albon is out of DRS, so that is worth keeping an eye on as well. Unsafe release then on his softs. Actually close up a little bit there to Caesar in that last lap, whose gap is under 2 seconds now, but is flirting in around that range, and already it's back up to that range once again. But the pressure here from DJ Williamson and Awesome Dude, and then Stevie G, we're getting closer to this as well. These guys have a bit more leeway than Unsafe Release, as their tyres are, well, mediums for those two. Unsafe Release is on the soft compound tyre as well, and yet to pit. Any moves looking like to be made. Scuba then synchronized right in front of him, but nothing doing heading into this hairpin, at least for the time being. But he's definitely looking to put the pressure on. Yeah, see, Focky has still within that DRS, but he's broken into Albon, and even Caesar's not had the best lap this lap either, and he's out of DRS range as well. So let's see where this ends up. We'll go more with Scuba here in 10th, and Captain Chubbs just behind him as well. Let's go board with the McLaren. Getting tasty views maybe from this angle. Anything impending in front. There's the Miles. He is around the spoon, but he's got going again. Synchronizer goes defensive. Oh, well, camera angle. And goes a little bit deep. And looking like a good opportunity this time with DRS for Scuba. Let's go on the camera shot there. Should be fairly straightforward. He darts to the right hand side. Chubbs is there as well. And that is Scuba through, but Captain Chubbs unable to follow him, at least for the time being. See if Scuba can pull out an advantage then over that Haas before Chubbs. Inevitably, you might say follow him through. But yeah, still very close here at the top. So Focky's looking in a very good spot here for this victory at the moment. A very good spot indeed. He's got 2 seconds now, Albon, another second behind that, and they are oh, sorry, well, I wouldn't say he's looking good for the win, because obviously Stevie G is still there, but he's looking very good for he's still right here. He's put out a good gap, so the pace is obviously quite strong, and he probably could go quicker. Anything doing? Oh, Stevie G side by side with Awesome Dudes for P7, so trying to make a move on one of these medium runners. On the inside line, should have it fairly simple through there. Try to fight back on the outside, it's going to be difficult though. He's sticking with it, to be fair, he's Awesome Dude. Let's see then, will he's not really gone into the overtake deployment, so I think he's just going to let this one slide. And that is Stevie G then into 7th place, having made his stop already. But Unsafe Release going on defensive. against DJ Williamson. Not the best run through the chicane, and Merck is into the pits, Albin into the pits as well. Unsafely diving into the pits as well. So Focky and Caesar, they carry on their softs. But for the time being then, let's see where they end up then, compared to, because they all had the choice. Everyone had the choice on the safety car whether to come into the pits, put on a set of mediums or put on a set of hards, or stay out on track. But half of them, those guys who started on softs, went into the pits on hards and mediums. Half of them stayed out. Stevie G is the one that pitted from the lead. You can see where he is, and there is Merck just emerging from the pits. It's heated. We should be much further up the field, but there he is. That's where he's ended up. So the gap then between Stevie G and Merck is about 7 seconds. So about 14 seconds is the difference. The difference is that Stevie G does not have to pit again. Yellow flag in sector 2. Oh, it's just in a spoon there. That's Invictus, it looks like. So that's going great for him. But then next up, though, for Stevie G is, of course, DJ Williamson. And then after that should be fairly smooth sailing then. 14 seconds up for Merck to make on the medium is going to be difficult enough. We saw even on... Oh, there's a flag there. That's either been Mike, is it? Yes, he's just gone out of the barrier, out of Spoon. Not Spoon, the hairpin. Spoon's up next. And try and be careful about safely rejoining the track. Might get disqualified at this rate though if he continues to sit there, but go back on board with Stevie G. We saw on Wednesday between Wesker and Lickle how difficult it was, even with the as Focky comes into the pits and Caesar as well, and the hard still lasted quite well. Lickle wasn't really making much of an inroads on him. Let's see if DRS has used all of his ERS has Stevie G, but I think it's a necessary risk. Then he goes down the inside with a wide effort for DJ Williamson, but that is Stevie G back into the lead of this race. Now where did Focky and Caesar come out? There's Merck, who's just at fastest sector 3. Caesar will be behind Focky then. Oh, it's going to be tight. If we get a better camera angle, there it is. But he's behind Merck still. And as you were then, just before they came into the pits. So you're looking for Focky then. And sorry, the overcut didn't really work. And yeah, he's still stuck behind that gearbox of that Toro Rosso, at least for the time being. But yeah, this race is kind of flying at a kind of brisk pace. Lap 12. Your situation is, I'm not sure if Scuba will have to pit again on those mediums. He did pit basically when the safety car came out. Might be able to hang on there. Austin did, I believe, started. See, that's just, yeah, there you go. So the only people left to make a stop, DJ Williamson, Awesome Dude, and Captain Chubbs. Everyone else has made at least one stop. There's not a lot going on, is there? A couple of drivers in within a half a second or so, but nothing major really. We'll stick with this then. I know Focky and Merck will be close, but they're still around 6/10, something mad. And open the DRS on that as his fastest lap of the race there, set by Scuba, so he's kind of flying along now, as this needs to be a phase for CVG to try and save some of that ERS, recover some of that ERS, because he is under pressure from the guys behind, because he hasn't really dropped DJ Williamson, and Scuba is coming quickly as well, and Chubb's not far behind him either. So although Chubb says, yeah, obviously not yet to make a stop, Scuba obviously has. Here is Caesar on the back of Albin. He dropped a little bit before the pit stops, but right back on his tail now. And Scuba very close to the back of DJ Williamson as well. Let's stick with this for a little bit longer. They head towards Spoonie. Look, the sign of a move. Nothing going down the inside, at least, into that hairpin at least. And again, Caesar's lost a bit of touching distance there. Was up right alongside him, not alongside him, but like 2/10, and it's almost 6/10 of a second behind now, so it's kind of ebb and flow. Scuba, oh, he's lost the back end slightly there. That'll disrupt some of his progress somewhat. And a big lap there for Stevie G, who's managed to break DRS then from that racing point, and then that little mistake there from Scuba unsettling him just a little bit. His progress disrupted a little bit there. Let's see then, Focky close to the back of Merck. Caesar not too far away either. Let's see then any sign of a moves being made here. DJ Williamson carries on. Let's see that Focky not close enough. Caesar is getting close. Will he go for a move heading into the chicane? Doors left open. He's going to go through it. Can he slow down in time? He can, and he is through. That is Caesar then into P11 and ahead of Alba Anderson. That's a big move then for him. Can he stay in front though is the question. Look, he's gone very defensive using his ERS, and he is safe enough then. That's Caesar then into 11th place, and he should have just in front of them. Let's go back up here though, because I think there's going to be some moves made here soon. Oh fuck, he's quite close as well, but imagine we're going to see a bit more change here. One's the gravel then, or the grass rather, surrounded by gravel. DJ Williamson and heading up the hill then. We go for the move down the inside. Thought of it, decided not to go through. Another penalty for Merck. That's incredible. I don't know how that's possible, but there you go. Focky then close behind as well. See Sygate then just in front as well. So that's how things are looking. Where's this? Just see the gap. It's coming down by about 2 seconds between CVG and Merck there. 12 seconds. Of course, some of that was dealing with some of the traffic. So head through 130R once again for the 14th time already. And no sign of anything else yet. So looking fairly smooth. And let's see if Sygate then can defend his P7. His teammate, I'm sure, would appreciate a good number 2 job. See if he can hold them off down this main street. I suspect it might be difficult. Neon impossible to hold off the charging Merck, and Focky be needing to get by this as soon as possible as well, and he knows that. Ooh, Merck's got a little bit wide, but that won't allow the Renault back through. Tough place for Focky to catch up, because unless he can get through in this next half a sector or so, or a sector and a bit, because the longer he sits behind this Renault, the more he loses touch with the DRS of Merck, and he needs that pretty badly. Let's see then, DJ Williams has just picked up a penalty then in second. No sign that Mercedes is trying to find a way through. Let's see then if the Haas can find a way through on this Renault. Good run. Now it's the inside left. It is, and he go for it. Oh, thought about it down the middle. Oh, contact with himself, and Merck, he's overcooked it. Merck thankfully still going in the right direction. Not sure if he's got wing damage though. Let's try and see if they come around. No, looks intact. So Sygate then got his points all mixed up, and that has allowed Focky through relatively straightforward. He'll be relieved. Caesar then through on Sygate as well, and then he's right behind that. Let's actually stick with this, because Sygate's got a good run heading out of that spoon curve. Caesar has to tuck in. Oh, almost on the back of that then is heated. Let's see anything going around 130R and heading into the chicane. Another penalty. Oh, he's into the back of Caesar. That's forced him to lock up. Another cut there. See if this will budge. Oh, gee, Mac, I thought Caesar got into the barrier there, but he's trying to hold off. Heated on his outside. They both have DRS on Sygate then. Nothing can be done. Wesker's obviously set the fast lap of the race just behind this. It's all very, very close. Caesar's got across the grass. Will he go wide? Can he sneak back through? Oh, Albert Anderson's out of this race. Where has he lost it? He's lost it coming out of turn 1. I think he's actually retired on track. Potentially contact may have been made with another driver there. I know Wesker was in his vicinity. And, well, has him out of this race. Oh, Caesar's lost it. He caught it. And he's managed to avoid Wesker as he's come through. But that has disrupted his progress. He's now down to 12th place to Caesar, having looking like he's going to get into 9th place there on Sygate less than half a lap ago. So things do change quickly, and Caesar is a little bit further back than what he was about a minute ago. This looks like a bit better for Scuba this time for a move on DJ Williamson. Now when you go into 130R, does he lift off the throttle? He does, just a little bit. He should set himself up nicely for chicane. That's a nice view. And DJ Williamson in the middle of the track defending that one. Nothing doing there, but it should be a bit more straightforward this time round down this main straight. DJ Williamson using the ERS available to him isn't enough to keep the Mercedes behind. Leish moved to the right hand side, thought about it, but decides not to go through that door. 5-second penalty for Sygate, a couple of them flying through then. So this is helping, I would say, DG a little bit, but he's still 1.5 seconds clear, that's all. But he is at least able to harvest some ERS, and that's going to be important. Oh, DJ Williamson on the outside of the Dunlop curve there, he got it wrong, and Scuba is finally through. And that's DJ Williamson then into third place, Scuba then into second. I wonder if he'll try and make any inroads on that Renault. We'll find out. And if he can, will he do anything about it? He's a very intelligent driver. He's going to be very conscious that he's going to be dealing with a race leader and won't do anything. He won't attempt to move that isn't on, or he won't force anything, especially as he's a driver who's not in this division. Captain Chubbs looking like to have a go through there on DJ Williamson. He's already had a bit of an incident already as Captain Chubbs already this race, in addition to what happened in Division 2 as well. Let's see if he goes for it on DJ Williamson then, down to the inside of 130R. Wrong one, but he is through cleanly enough, and that is Captain Chubbs then into third place. That is for a legit position, because these guys haven't pitted yet, Chubbs and DJ Williamson. It's a nice little battle going on here with Focky as well, down the inside on Merck. Oh, he didn't get it right, and he's going to have a penalty for it as well. Sygate then trying to hold off Heated and Wesker right there, as well as Austin comes into the pits. DJ Williamson thought he was going to make a move back, so let's see. Then Sygate struggling a little bit. Heated should get through, but Wesker be able to follow through as well. Overtake mode enabled, going up to the right hand side. Bit of contact there, was there, between the two? But Heated is through. And Sygate then, can Wesker squeeze by as well? 15 laps on these mediums is Wesker, so he's taking these a long way. But he can't get through. Caesar's called up to the back of this as well, so he's trying to get back into this fray as well. So 7 seconds, 8 seconds between Heated and then Focky, and then Merck then right there. So it's the gap to the leader, 11 seconds. So it's come down a little bit in the last few laps, but again, nothing wild. So very much Stevie G's race to control. 1.2 seconds is marching over Scuba, then 1.2 seconds back to Merck, and another 1.72 seconds now to DJ Williamson. But Wesker has showed flashes of being the fastest man on track at the moment. Of course, race winner in Division 2, you might expect that. I've said meetings as well. He goes around the outside. Oh, he's made contact with Sygate, and Sygate's round. And thankfully Austin ghosted, but he did get a penalty for multiple warnings. As Chubbs then comes into the pits, and DJ Williamson too, then Scuba sets a fast lap of the race. 1.1 seconds then, the gap between himself and Stevie G. Now where will these two come out as? Focky then trying to hold on to this effective P3 now, and so that's synchronizer then. So I must miss that, my apologies. The has the switch then, or has Focky made a mistake somewhere? Or did he just go, I missed that, my bad. Soft tyres then, as Caesar almost got by Wesker there. Soft tyres are awesome to DJ Williamson and Captain Chubbs, but Sygate then is through. But I don't think he's going to, yeah, the grip there, not very much. So, yeah, so 15 lap old mediums for synchronizer. Now we let Focky go on those mediums. 7 laps the difference. Nothing doing there, but the gap right here really has closed. Less than a second now between Scuba and Stevie G. So lead of the race, of course, and then yep, there's the switch. Focky then back through on synchronizer. It makes the most sense to let that happen, and yeah, fresher tyres. Flag then to Miles. The VSC is out now. Does that change anything? These guys at the front, because they're right in the perfect place, so it wouldn't make sense for Stevie G to do it, and Scuba obviously isn't going to do it either. Now will Merck do it? It really only affects the first few cars. I'm not sure why Merck would do it. Synchronize has a lot more to gain by doing it, but they're going to carry on. And that was the retirement of the Miles that brought out that VSC. Don't think it's worth anyone's interest to do it now unless you've yet to make a stop. But so no real benefiters of that, so to speak. But let's see then what the gap is. Might get Focky back within a second of Merck there. We'll have to see. We are racing once again. He is definitely within DRS. That's helped him quite considerably. He was just on the outside of that DRS zone of that Toro Rosso, but he's back in it now. That'll be a big benefit to him. Lap 20 or 27. So we are actually coming down to the near the closing stages of this race. Still a good lead there for CVG there. He's actually lost a few seconds in our VSC restart, I think, as well. So he was 11 seconds clear pretty much, and now he's just over 9. Not that it matters a ton, because I don't think they're going to really catch him. But there you go. A couple of guys on sauce worth keeping an eye on. This trio. We're coming up to the back of this group soon. Heated, Wesker and Caesar, so that should be fun. We'll stick with this group actually, see what the story is. I'm sure Heated, Wesker and Caesar, they won't be feeling too comfortable. 3 cars in relatively close proximity behind them on soft compound tires. Another 3-second time penalty for Merck. It's insane. I don't know how he does it. It truly is incredible. I think that DRS is broken on the back of that Haas. So even though he's back within the DRS range, it doesn't look like he's actually getting any benefit from it. Oh, that ERS management is tough on both of them. Both those Haas's struggling there. There's a Wesker then on Heated, Chubbs and DJ Williamson. He's made that move for P10. So Heated still ahead of Wesker for the time being. Caesar right behind this as well. Had to deal with the lap car, of course. Thankfully it's ghosted. But won't be helping in any way, shape or form. I always found it was the easiest to get, corner cutting warnings or penalties when there was a car like that in front of you. I'd be ghosted from leaving the session or blue flag, because it just ruins it just kind of messes with your perception entirely. I've been there. But speaking of being right there, Scuba on the back of CVG. This is for the lead of the race. I wonder will Scuba go for it. Of course, it's not much of a challenge because I know he's got no ABS on, but he's a Division 1 driver. You would expect something like this. But lost a bit of ground there heading out of the last. Another 5-second penalty. That is incredible. He's got to, I don't know. It's a strange one. DJ Williamson takes that place back. Off to Captain Chubbs. Good move from him. And good to see him fight back then on Chubbs, who has to contend himself with an 11. Bit of a corner cut on that chicane. Would you call that exploitative? I'm not sure. But he is coming back at the racing point once again to dart to the outside. Can he sweep around turn 1? And he does, so good move there from Chubbs. He's back into 10th place then. It's a Focky then, 2.6 seconds ahead of his teammate. And the Softwares have joined, well, Austin has joined the battle. The squabble between Captain Chubbs and DJ Williamson has taken them a little bit out of contention here for this little squabble that they're going to find themselves in with Wesker, Caesar and Heated. There's the battle for P3, although really it's not, because there's a million penalties on that Toro Rosso. Let's see again what the story is here then. CVG and Scuba. I'm not sure what CVG, because it's, look, regardless of if you know that the car behind you is in your division or not as reserve, you don't, you're going to feel pressure because you are in the lead of a race, and having a car behind you can force you into a mistake. So how pleased will he be that a car, a reserve who is from Division 1 is, putting pressure on. I do wonder what drivers feel about that situation, because they can make the argument that, well, they shouldn't be there to begin with, and they have a point in some regard. And if they make a mistake, it was like, well, this guy was too quick, he should have been near me in the first place. As a Heated and Wesker, Heated holding onto that P6, where they are bringing Caesar and Austin closer to the fray. Focky then very close to the back of that Toro Rosso, but can't quite get through. And the same story for Scuba and CVG. I also think at the same time, if Scuba wanted to get through, he probably could have by now. But I know he's got no ABS and his tyres are up there in age as well, so bear that in mind. Ooh, a bit of a sloppy exit there for Merck. Will that put Focky in his graph heading up towards Spoon? Down the inside, not quite, but definitely enough to get a slipstream. See if he can do it heading into 130R or the final chicane there. Using all the track that he can is Merc anything going up here, but there's something down below though. Wesker trying to go through the inside of Spoon. Outside line will be there for Heated. Let's just quick back to Fock. You know he's going to have enough chance to make a move then. Side by side these guys will be, and Caesar right there. Oh, Caesar's into the wall, and Heated then is out of this race then. I'm not sure, it must have been Heated into the wall rather, not Caesar, but he's out of this. The safety car is out just as Scuba was right behind. Now then, this worked perfectly for Synchronizer, who else will dive into the pits then. So has Caesar got damage? No, he hasn't. So it was Heated that went into the wall. I'm not sure if it was Wesker or Caesar that caused that contact with Heated, but Heated is out of this race. He won't be happy with that. I think he came to blows with Chubbs earlier in this race, and now he's come to blows again. So that's rough. So only Synchronizer decided to come in here for a pit stop to change the tyres. To be fair, no one above Focky, Merc, Scuba and CVG did not have that luxury. That will help Merc and Focky. Well, it'll help Focky rather, because it obviously bunches the gap right up then, and obviously at this stage Focky's tyres are better than Stevie G's tyres. That is the disaster for Stevie G in that situation. It's going to be a very quick safety car. It's lap 24. It's going to be a very quick one, and Scuba's come tearing past. I think he's just going to get himself disqualified actually, to be fair. Or is he? I imagine that's what is going to happen. There's Delta to stick to, of course. Yep, well there's another yellow flag, so I imagine that's what this is. And yeah, there's another one. So yeah, that's one way to resolve your race, I suppose, as a reserve. And he couldn't even retire correctly, wow. Poor form. Yeah. So Merc is going to pivot. That's surprising. Merc's going to pivot then. He's going to do the same. And retire then under safety car. He is as well. Wesker, I'm sure, will do the same. This will obviously shake up the order quite a bit then. It makes sense to do it then because we're going to be, let's be honest, we're going to get basically 1 or 2 racing laps. So these guys are so. There you go. So let's see where this shakes the grid up then. Let's put Synchronize in an interesting position then on softs. It's going to go up to 7th then. So Focky could still have a chance to win this race. Let's see if they actually catch up to the safety car first. Now, Stevie G's actually going to get there now. I wonder if the safety car comes in this lap, I wonder if the entire field will have a chance to catch up to the back of this safety car. Focky should. Won't be any danger there. Caesar's quite a bit behind. Yeah, they should be fine. I'd worry if a Synchronizer might have trouble. Let's find out. We'll have to find out. Should be fine though. So there's your standings. I mean, it's been a race of attrition, that's for sure. But we could be set for a fascinating end here. Obviously everyone's ERS will be full, so there's no need to worry about that. DRS won't be enabled for the rest of this race. It is literally going to come down to tyres, and if someone can get a better traction coming out of stuff like Spoon, Slipstream, oh, yellow flag, disqualification for Ivan Mike, that's unfortunate. Safety car is in this lap then. Where is Synchronizer? He's going to catch up just about. He's going to, oh, it's going to be tight though. More penalties flying in. Oh, Synchronizer's going to be very, very tight. I think he should be fine when all this backs up then. Might be a second or so off. But let's see. No, he's just about caught up. Wow, that's worked out pretty well. He hasn't even had to get off the throttle basically. We're under racing though, and Caesar's got a good jump here on Focky, who's been caught napping somewhat on this restart. Caesar's going to have the inside line heading into turn 1. Will he stick his nose in? Space. He didn't risk it though. And he files into P3. Austin on Sauce right behind him. DJ Williamson side by side with Captain Chubbs, who hasn't retired yet. And he'll let them go now, will he? Yes. So he lets Synchronizer go then. And then Synchronizer, see what he can make up on these tyres. Gonna have to get through these drivers on soft first. This is the second to last lap. CBG still looking good at the front here. Good restart from him, and he just needs to keep this going. He's one more lap after this. And of course no DRS then to help Focky or any of them chasing behind. But let's see what the tyre advantage is like. There is Synchronized, he's in 6th place there. I think it's the right move to go for. I think it was worth going for sure. Might still make up a place or two. We'll find out. I'm sure a penalty or two will obviously come up as well. Let's see how the exit is for Focky out of this turn compared to Stevie G. This could be interesting. Yeah, it could be interesting. We'll have to see then. Penalty for Cygate. A few of those have been racking up. No one in any immediate danger of being overtaken, but I guess that's the effect of it. But here we go then, heading on to the last lap of this race. CVG, it's been his race basically from the start, and looks like he'll still be that way now as he comes across line 8/10 the gap. Let's see DJ Williamson looking to put pressure on. Awesome, do this for P4. Can get around the outside. Oh, bit of contact, but he's still holding on to the Synchronizer right there as well. It said Iverby Mike was disqualified, but apparently he wasn't, which is odd. But alas, unsafe release taken by Chubbs, who of course has retired. So let's see if anything changes on this last lap. I suspect maybe not much will change. But, still looking good for Stevie G out front. It would be pretty cruel if he did not win this race. He's definitely deserved it. He looks pretty comfortable. Nearly second between him and Focky, and there's a second between Focky and Caesar. And Caesar's, if anything, is under more pressure than anyone else. Few cars queued behind him. Could also do sneak onto the podium even. Let's find out. He's going to have to really defend for his life. Is Caesar, because these guys have better tyres heading out of this. Well, it's pretty important corner to have good grip coming out of. And there, let's see the straight line speed. This could end up in absolute tears. Let's see if Austin could force his way onto the podium. CVG looking pretty good. Awesome dude, when you go for it, surely you gotta go for it on the last lap. There are penalties to consider as well, but he's not close enough to make a move. CVG then, through a brilliant race from him, he is going across the line to win the Japanese Grand Prix ahead of Focky. Caesar will jump up to second then. Synchronizer jumps a whole bunch of cars into third. Awesome dude then stays in fourth. Focky falls all the way down to fifth. DJ Williamson pick up sixth. And a long way back. Unsafe release will pick up some points. I'm sure he'll be happy with that, considering he said he had a sore head today after yesterday. So he finishes in P7, and Cygate will cross the line in P8. Ivory Michael, well, he's a long way back, isn't he? And Invictus then will obviously cross line a lap down. But there you go, Cygate then will finish in 8th. And then Invictus, and then Iverby Mike. Will Invictus even overtake Captain Chubbs? I don't think he will. Oh, he's on track. He'll be fine for that though. But there he goes. Yep, there it is. Into 10th, and then the well, not sole Ferrari, but the other Ferrari will come home with just 10 finishers then. I know there's a few reserve drivers, but even still. So yeah, it's a tough one, but there you go then. That is your lot for the Japanese Grand Prix. That went better than I thought it would, to be fair. I want to see Merck's penalties though, there's a lot of those. Alright, Stevie G then, a well-deserved win for him. What does that do for him in the standings? Curious to know. Put him decently in the hunt. Where is that? I'll put him on to... yeah, put him right up there. So Stevie G emerging as a title contender in this division. And of course, Jetty not being able to be here today obviously helps Focky, and it helps Stevie G and a few others as well. But there you go. Then let's run through this one more time before we cap off for the night. Is Stevie G then, excuse me, ahead of Caesar, then second, Synchronizer third, top three, no penalties for them. Good stuff. Awesome dude then close to a podium, no cigar. In the end, he finishes fourth. Focky then drops down to fifth. He may end up getting that removed depending on what happens. I know there's a few BS penalties here and there, so it's possibly could even still finish second. DJ Williamson, good job from him to finish sixth. Unsafe release seventh. Cygate eighth. Ivory Mike and Invictus then rounds out, scoring in 10th. Add 2 uncertified second penalties onto that for Merck as well, in addition to those 9 seconds. So congratulations to him. And I think that's going to do it, really. I mean, driver of the day. I mean, Caesar deserves a good shout. Awesome dude, good shout for him as well. Probably go to Caesar. Well, to be fair, Stevie G was pretty peerless, actually. I'm going to give Stevie G. He was the man. There was no one in Division 3 had an answer for his pace and his strategy. So I think he is a deserving driver of the day. But that is going to do it for round number 4 of the Masters Championship Division 3. Hope you enjoyed that race. Next up on the calendar is Abu Dhabi, and that will begin on Tuesday with Division 1. So hope to see you then, and thanks for watching.